Some people grow up in homes where their basic needs were met: food, shelter, school. Yet emotionally, they were invisible. Not abused, not neglected in obvious ways, just unseen, unheard, unacknowledged. And the long-term effects of that kind of childhood are far deeper than most people realize. Growing up unseen doesn't mean no one was around. It means no one truly noticed you. No one asked how you felt. No one made space for your inner world. Your emotions were minimized, dismissed, or quietly ignored. And when a child's feelings don't matter, the child learns a painful lesson: I don't matter either. The first effect: you learn to silence yourself. Children who grow up unheard often become adults who struggle to speak up. They hesitate to express needs, opinions, or boundaries because they were conditioned to believe their voice has no impact. You might notice this when you're in a meeting with a great idea, yet you stay quiet because you assume no one will care. That silence isn't shyness, it's conditioning. The second effect: you become hyper-aware of others. When no one pays attention to you, you learn to pay attention to everyone else. You scan moods, tones, and micro-expressions. You become the peacemaker, the fixer, the one who anticipates problems before they happen. A familiar scenario is sensing tension at a family dinner long before anyone else notices. You adjust your behavior instantly to keep the peace. It's not intuition, it's survival. The third effect: you minimize your own emotions. If your feelings were brushed aside as a child, you learn to brush them aside yourself. You tell yourself it's not a big deal, even when it is. For instance, a friend cancels plans and you feel hurt, but you immediately dismiss your own reaction. You apologize for being disappointed, even though your feelings are completely valid. The fourth effect: you struggle with self-worth. When no one reflects your inner world back to you, you grow up without a clear sense of who you are. You may feel unimportant, replaceable, or forgettable. You may find yourself achieving something meaningful, a promotion, a creative milestone, yet feeling like it doesn't matter. Praise feels foreign, and part of you doubts you deserve it. The fifth effect: you fear being a burden. Children who weren't emotionally acknowledged often grow into adults who believe their presence is inconvenient. They overfunction, overgive, and over-explain to avoid being too much. One common pattern is hesitating to ask a friend for help, even with something simple. You convince yourself it's unfair to bother them, even though they'd gladly support you. The sixth effect: you become independent to a fault. When no one shows up for you emotionally, you learn not to expect support. You become self-reliant, capable, and strong, but also exhausted. You might notice this when you handle every crisis alone: financial stress, emotional pain, personal struggles, because depending on others feels unsafe. You've learned to survive without help, even when help is available. The seventh effect: you feel invisible even in relationships. Being unseen becomes a familiar pattern. You may choose partners or friends who overlook your needs, not because you want to, but because it feels normal. A subtle sign is realizing your partner rarely asks how you feel or checks in emotionally. Instead of addressing it, you accept it. Invisibility feels familiar, even though it hurts. Final reflection: growing up unseen or unheard doesn't just shape your childhood. It shapes your identity. It shapes your relationships, your self-worth, your emotional patterns, and the way you move through the world. But awareness is the first step toward healing. When you finally recognize the invisibility you live through, you can begin to reclaim your voice, your needs, and your sense of worth. Being unseen was your past. It doesn't have to be your future.